here on the 13th of Tishrei of a great Persian rabbi. His name was Rabbi Moshe Chai Ahroni. Zecher Tzadik Debracha. He was born in English year 1896, passed away in 1957. He was about 61 years of age at the time he passed away. Very famous rabbi of his time. He was from Kermānshā in Iran, respectively, in Persia, and actually came from a family, I think, that were from the city of Yazd. Previously in of itself, so we've spoken about that on various occasions before. Eventually they would end up making Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael and gonna obviously passing through Kermānshā in that point of time. It was a very famous family in of itself, family I believe we mentioned about in this series before. Now it's interesting, Rabbi Moshe Chai Ahroni would actually start learning Torah at a young age. I think this would have been in Kermānshā respectively at a young age, that will be. And after that, he would learn in the Alliance school system of Kol Yisrael Chaverim. I think that was formed in Kermānshā. I think this was around the year 1904, I believe. We're talking about more than 120 years ago here from the time of recording. He would be learning. I remember the Alliance school system. We've actually recorded a video about it before. It was famous, let's say, Jewish school system that really spent much more time studying secular core subjects and languages, and not, I don't know, as much Torah as many of the yeshivot. It was much less Torah studies in that. But he would eventually, I believe, after learning Alliance, he would actually, I think, study for the rabbinate at that stage in time. He would and be ordained as a rabbi. He would get a rabbinic ordination and become, I think, the spiritual leader of the Jewish community of Kermānshā over there. And I think at that point in time there was another great rabbi, Rav Rofeh Hakim Agadjan, I believe, a rabbi that we haven't mentioned much about before in this series, but one that we should definitely maybe speak about at a later stage in time. Now it's interesting, Rabbi Moshe Chai Ahroni would get married to his wife, and I think she came from the family Mahi Hakimazadeh, if I'm not too sure. She was, I think, one of the daughters of the family of the Anusei Mashad, so she was actually Mashadi originally, which you have to point out. And we've spoken about the great Mashadi Persian Jewish community on various occasions before. And then I think he would go on to live in Bangaro B'Mahala. I think he would live inside the Jewish quarter in Kermānshā over there, and very, very interesting enough. So he would be very, very important figure over there, let's just say, in of itself, and really progressed at that point in time. Now he'd work in trade, I think, in various different trades in his time over there. It says of him Mischa Sitonai, I believe, and then he would work, I think, in other businesses also, in other trade business, a great trade business in of itself, and would I think he would know many, many different languages that would definitely help benefit him in of itself over there. Among Persian, he would also know Arabic, that would be another language, English, French, and German. He would know, would be able to write in various different actual languages in of itself, and was able to correspond also in of itself. Now, I think there was a Zionistic publication which he would contribute to called the Ha'olam. It was a special gilion, let's just say, in of itself. But I think that would actually perpetrate to Kermānshā also, respectively, at various different times. So he was, let's just say, in of itself, very, very important, and really, let's say, garnering up different languages, while at the same time he was doing various different important roles at that point in time. So that's interesting. Now remember, we've spoken about various rabbis that were actually came from Iran in different points of time. So we're speaking over here about the great Ha'olam. I think it was another publication at the time. Zionism was really, really thriving all over all the different countries at that point in time, 23 years before the states were formed. Now, it's interesting. I think B'Shana Fresh Pei 1925, exactly 100 years ago, Lachar Haficha Hatzba'it Be'iran, V'Aliyata Lemlucha Shel Raza She'asea Labi Niten Le'Yehudim Ma'amad Shel Shevan Ezrachi B'Neinei Hapanim Shel HaKehila Nimseru Lidei Ba'at HaKehila Yehudit Rabbanim. Moshe Chai Ahroni Haya Pa'il, but I think he'd start working within regards to other Jewish organizations at that point in time. And he was part of a committee, a Persian Jewish community over there, and would work really at a high position over there. And he was working within regards to he was a Rosh Pa'alita Datit over there at that point in time, and had manager with regards to the prayers of a synagogue over there, also respectively at that point in time. He would give over various different drashot, different sermons, and to the masses over there in Iran, in this community over there. He would give over various different important Torah classes, lectures, and really strengthen the community at that stage in time. Now, I think in 1934, I think come out in Jerusalem, his publication called the Pardes Hadat. That was, I think that was connected to the Alliance system, will help with regards to publication, called Israel Chaverim. And after a period of time, he would actually, לאחר תקופה ארוכה שפעל לחיזוק לימודי הדת בבית ספר של Alliance. He will also be connected very much to the Alliance school system over there. And yeah, so that's very interesting. Now, I think come 1934, it was Rabbi Chai Ahroni, together with other friends from the Kehila, they would actually go, I think, through Russia, to Russia at one point in time, and I think coming through Kermanshah, respectively, and would have close connection with various different other congregations over there, have a correspondence. 1953, I think he would actually have already at that stage in time made Aliyah to Eretz Israel. He would have, many of the people would have come at that point in time. He would go on to settle in Tel Aviv over there. That's where I think part of the Persian community would come to Tel Aviv. And it was tough, I think, the initial few months when he came into the country. I mean, to find jobs for everyone would have been difficult. But after a period of time, he would get a various different workings. I think he would be appointed part of the Chaber, B'Tchatkut Alei Iran B'Israel. So with a prominent position among the Iranian community in Israel, a prominent, seemingly like a very prestigious one. Also, I think various different. I think he passed away eventually. I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, in the year 1957. It would have been, I think, just not a long period so much after he had made Aliyah. So he passed away there, and I think a lot of his writings and different works in of itself is actually featured in the National Library of Israel. I think you can found today many of the manuscripts of his that was connected to him, especially the Zionistic works in of itself. So he passed away on the 13th of Tishrei. In the year 1957, he was, I think, buried in Kiryat Shaul, in Tel Aviv, if I'm not mistaken, in Beit Almin over there. The Pardes Hadat was a famous book on halachot, drashot for Shabbatot, and Moadei Yisrael, different festivals, Jewish festivals, respectively. Let's explore a few of the highlights from the book, also respectively over here. I think coming from the Chelik Bet of the Pardes Hadat, which was featured very much Shabbatot and Moadim teachings in of itself. There's a teaching Me'oreh Haleb Lepo'el Lema'an Imo V'Lamitz V'Lama'atz. This is very much featured. He's choosing notes from the Homey website over here. Now, another note over here, which can say teaching from the Pardes Hadat, come from page number 7, if I'm not mistaken. It teaches Melamed Ki Hador Nehefech Ve'in Kol Av Makpid Lelamed Et Beno. That's another teaching over there. And another teaching coming from page 22. It teaches of Melamed Ikara Gu'ula Hiya Yisod Halu'omit V'Kiyum Ruach HaYehudit Hayadut, respectively. That's another teaching over there. And then another teaching coming from page number 26. It says More Shelo Yarchiv Raglav Zo Al Zo Kederech Gava Kimi Shoshev Beit Kafeh. This teaching over there from page number 26, I think, from the book itself. So more can be said about him. Remember, he passed away 13th of Tishrei, happens to be this specific date, 2 days before Sukkot. He was famous Sopher, a writer. He was a translator. He was a man of the congregation. He was a Zionist. He was a rabbi in Kermānšā and also in Kurdistan, if I'm not mistaken, at different periods of time. So it's interesting. He would make Aliyah, I think it was the 9th of January 1953. So it was about just over 4.5 years he was spent in Israel before he had passed away, which is very interesting. Let's explore a bit more with him about him. I think his father's name was Yitzhak and his mother's name was Miriam. And they actually came, I think, from Yaz to Eretz Israel, if I'm not mistaken. And then maybe they went back to Kermānšā, if I'm not mistaken. So that was very, very interesting. Going back to it, just speaking a few more words about him, he would join, I think, the Kol Yisrael Chaverim at a young age. He would actually study there over there. And he would obviously receive the rabbinate at them. I think it was Rabbi Hakim Agajan will actually give him the rabbinate, the certificate in himself. I think later on he would also work as an accountant, if I'm not mistaken, which was also like a popular, maybe Persians would take on that position in of itself. And he would really, as we said before, he knew vast amounts of different languages and was really working for various different Zionistic organizations all throughout, and was really working for the Persian community at a great rate, let's just say. And so I think the Pardes Sadat was actually printed and publicized in Jerusalem in the year 1934. So that would have been about, we're talking about nearly 20 years before he actually moved there, which is very interesting enough. Now, it's actually interesting. So his wife came from great Mashadi heritage in of itself, and from the Hakima Zadeh family also. So I recommend everyone to look at it. When he came to Eretz Israel, he would live in Tel Aviv, in the Yafo area, and then later on, I believe he would live in Holon. Now, Holon has a very great Persian community also. I myself have many relatives, I think, that lived at one stage in time in Holon. It was a popular place where various different people from the Persian community would very much come and stay in of itself. And very interesting, he would go on and really take on different important Persian positions to connect to the Jewish community over there in after, just before he had passed away. So much, as we said before, much of his teachings is featured in National Library of Israel, which I recommend everyone to look into. And yet it's his Hilula here on the 13th of Tishrei, happens to be, and just famous rabbi of his time. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about great rabbis of yesterday. Now, if you descend from any of the great rabbis we're speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. Now, we've already spoken about maybe 20 rabbis that came from Iran, from Persia, here on this series already. So if you come to this community or heard any of the rabbis, please let me know. We've recorded about 1,350 biography videos already of great chachamim that actually maybe came from Iran at one stage in time. So I recommend everyone to watch over that specific section inside the channel. Now, friends, we're nearing 7,500 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. If anyone's interested in watching these videos, please share these videos also to other people also, and help grow the community. We're going from strength to strength over here and improving. Just came out of Parshat this week, Shabbat Parshat Hazinu it was. We're about to go into Sukkot. It's going to be on Monday night, so only 2 nights away. So I think on that note, wish you a Chag Sameach. Also, Shavua Tov, so we just came out of Shabbat. And please subscribe to the channel. We're a very much growing community at the moment, and enjoy the content. So much content for you guys. We also record daily tidbits on Daf Yomi. That's in the project we're working on here on this channel. Another thing that we're doing on the channel is we do tours all over Israel. We tour around Bet Shemesh, Jerusalem. We do short clips also, and record videos on the Parshat Shavua and the Hebrew month. Also, another exciting project that we're doing on this channel over here is that we're learning about the great different yeshivot, Talmudic academies that were in various Oriental countries, Ottoman countries, North African and Asian countries. We're looking at the history within Balsa. We're exploring what were the great synagogues in many of these countries. We've done special features on these different countries also, which I recommend everyone to look at. We're going to hopefully record a history video of the Jewish community in Iran and the rabbinic community also over there. So hopefully that will come at one stage in the near future also. So on that note, wishing you all a great night. Take care. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.